Right here we have probably the worst Victorinox I've ever handled, but it is actually my favorite, and we'll start getting into that right now. This is going to be the Victorinox AutoTool, and what this has is actually a Victorinox plier head, just like, I think it's the same as the Swiss tool. And then once we close these handles, we actually have very similar implements as well. So we have the serrated knife, we're going to have the combo tool, the screwdriver, the bottle cap lifter, and the wire stripper as well. And we are going to have the mini screwdriver right there. And then we're also going to have the Phillips screwdriver, which is a pretty nice Phillips screwdriver actually. So those are going to be the main tools, basically the normal tools that are going to come in here. And then we're going to have fairly normal lock right here. But one of the things I noticed on mine is it is very, very loose. And I think some of that might be due to age. This came out in 1999, so this is going to be a little bit old. But I'm not for sure if it's that. As we'll see on some of the other tools, this definitely is not put together extremely well. So those are going to be normal features. And then if you look at this, you can tell this is essentially going to be probably close to the width of a normal Swiss tool. And then we have basically a whole nother layer here where we have some extra functions. Now on the outside, all that we're going to have is the compartment to the battery compartment to the flashlight. And let's go ahead and look at that next. So when we close this AutoTool, this is going to be for a glove compartment. We're going to have a flashlight. Now mine doesn't work, and I am not sure if I'm even going to go to the trouble to try to get a battery for it. This is the battery that came with mine. So that is going to be the size for it. And we'll go ahead and open this compartment, and that's where the battery goes in. But on my particular one, when I go ahead and close this up, it basically, the handles buckle in the plastic as the pliers depress on there, and then it pops the lid off. So, and this is going to feel fairly cheap, fairly flimsy plastic. It does not feel very well made, to be honest. Now, Victorinox, from what I've read, from the information I was able to gather, in 1999 is going to contract with a company in Connecticut, and they're going to send some of these plier heads and some of these parts there, and the other company, the other company is going to come up with a lot of these very different and sort of cheap made products. So as far as I know, this is not Victorinox designed. It's actually a different company that Victorinox basically said, go ahead and make this for us. Then we're going to have a tire pressure gauge, and this would be extremely useful to have in a car if it worked. But again, the batteries go bad in these. And there's a whole tutorial you can find on the multitoolforum.org, where a guy actually talks about how you have to drill out a part and then you can replace the battery. But it sounds like a ton of work. And that is not, most people just, once the battery's dead, it's just irreplaceable essentially. But you can, if you go through all that work, apparently, one guy did it at least, drill it out and find a way to glue it back together once you're done. So on this side, we've got the flashlight, we've got the tire pressure gauge, and then on this side, we have two other tools. This is going to be a fuse grabber, and this just, it doesn't lock, it just sort of swings in here. And so this is for replacing fuses in your car, which is sort of neat. I mean, you probably could use, I would think, the pliers for that, but I guess this is specifically designed to reach in and grab them. So that's neat. And then one of my favorite tools on here is actually going to be this one. And let's see if I remember how to do this. So this is going to be the, there we go. This is going to be the ice scraper. So you go ahead, pull it out of the handle like so, and then it rotates down, and then it actually, this spring comes out and it locks it into place. So then you actually have an ice scraper. So I really love that design. I have to say this is a multi-tool that I love because I love all these little gadgets and so forth that are just very different. So I know they don't work and I know it's a poor design, but I kept thinking, how could we make this again? How could we improve this design? Because I really find it a very fascinating design. So then you pull this spring back, it goes over like so, and then it fits back into place. Especially with the new technology now, can you imagine if you had a Rovivon flashlight, one of those very small keychain ones, you could put that in there. I'm sure someone could design a better tire pressure gauge that you could actually replace the battery very easily. And then the ice scraper, there have been complaints of it breaking, but it'd be really neat if you could get like a replaceable replacement that would just fit in here, just like Victorinox sells ink pen replacements and so forth. So I really like this design. I wish we could find someone would come out with a new design, something like this, just done way better. I would be a huge fan of that. And even if a company, an off-brand company came out with that, I think I would definitely go for that. Now, there are AutoTools that are just huge tire pressure gauges where they add a bunch of knives. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actually a plier design tool where you have a bunch of extra functions specifically designed for the glove compartment where you can reach in and get those functions. So a lot of times, you know, I have a bunch of ice scrapers that I have in my door handle. I'm always forgetting my tire pressure gauge and I need it. And then sometimes I do forget a flashlight. Now I have one on my keychain and my wallet, but I have often forgot one in the past. And so I feel like the design, the thought process of this is essentially what you would need. Just unfortunately, the quality wasn't up there from the company that Victorinox bought or had these made. So these were discontinued fairly soon. These are going to be sort of similar to the sports ratchet, Victorinox Sport Ratchet, which I believe also disappeared fairly quickly. That is now $389 on eBay. If you would find one of these in new condition, probably it would go for, you know, $150 to $400. So these are becoming very, very collectible. Well, this is my favorite Victorinox to date. I know it's not a fantastic tool as it is, but I love all these gizmos and gadgets. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you found a multi-tool that has some of these functions? I would love to know. We'll see you in the next video.